Good morning and welcome to another episode of Richard and Paul Cook. ... And today it is Toad in the Hole.
Yay!
Yay! And contrary to popular belief, it has nothing to do with toads. No toads have been harmed in the production of this dish.
Well, you don't know that.
Well, I do know that, Paul, because it's never been recorded.
Well, it's not an intrinsic ingredient, but if somebody was beating batter and walking around the kitchen, they might have accidentally trod on a toad.
Who has a toad in their kitchen? Let us know.
Toad Hall would have one.
Let us know in the comments below if you've got resident toads in your kitchen. So, Toad in the Hole, what is it, where does it come from, and what purpose does it serve?
It serves yummy, yummy yumness. That's what it serves.
Did you have Toad in the Hole then as kids?
It wasn't a regular. We would have it several times over the winter, and it was always like, oh yay, we're having Toad in the Hole. And I do specifically remember that there is, in the Hamlin cookbook, there is a picture of Toad in the Hole.
Oh,
in
you
the
should have
Hamlin
got it
cookbook.
out to show the viewers.
Well, I'll grab it. It's just here.
Talk about these things and then don't show and tell.
Well, the thing is, sometimes you're doing things and then suddenly you remember. And that's what happened then. I suddenly remember. Where's
You've
Toad
got to
in
find
the
it
Hole?
first.
Yeah.
In the extensive index.
Oh. No, and it's not... I'm going to have a look for it.
Okay, well...
Yeah, so I think we'll slip it in, but there is one in here which it reminds me of, and it was always a dish that I wanted to do.
Well, we did have it as kids, but the only problem with it for me is that the sausages that we used to buy weren't particularly good.
Right, yeah.
You know, and inevitably there was always a little bit of gristle in the sausage meat, which really used to put me off.
I think that was a big thing with a lot of things, wasn't it? I can't even find the index.
It had to be cheap cuts, didn't it?
Well, sausages were what I should look up sausages.
Yeah, look it up, Paul. God, honestly. But people couldn't afford good cuts of meat and expensive sausages in those days.
No.
We certainly couldn't.
But that's what I mean. The butcher made the sausages out of things that were
undesirable, frankly.
Well, they were the offcuts and things, weren't they? And of course, quite a lot of fat went into it. It is.
Great.
I remember that picture very, very well, and always wanting to cook it. And of course, there's the requisite parsley just plonked on top. But these are wrapped in bacon as well. But yeah, Toad in the Hole.
So Toad in the Hole is basically sausages baked in Yorkshire pudding batter.
Yeah.
Which is basically a pancake batter. But if anybody knows anything about Yorkshire puddings, it's an accompaniment. And as is Toad in the Hole, it's kind of the main meat part of the dish, but it would be served with vegetables and, more often than not, an onion gravy. So
mash, we would have mash with ours.
Mash is very popular with Toad in the Hole, absolutely.
I mean, it's interesting because in your batter you've got your starches and all of that, so to have Toad in the Hole with that batter is a starch, and then to have mashed potatoes is a starch. So yeah, it's
it's carbolicious, but a lot of these recipes and dishes from our childhood, which was the 70s, they were fillers.
Yeah, they were.
Everything was designed to fill you up and give you energy, because we've talked in our vlogs and our shows about the fact that we both grew up in houses that didn't have central heating, that didn't have double glazing, so during the winter it was a cold affair. A little bit like now, but that's for different reasons, because of the cost of living crisis that we're still in. Where prices are so high. So people needed food that was high energy, and a lot of these dishes were served with lots of potatoes, because potatoes were relatively inexpensive still, you know, and yeah.
Do you remember when sausages used to be bought in 8s? Because now they're all in 6s, and I remember all the packaged sausages that you used to get, there would be 8 there.
And they were joined together.
They were joined together, yeah.
It was one big sausage skin.
Yeah. You could, what I do remember is that Mum would always cook a few extra sausages separately, and they would go into the fridge because Dad loved cold sausages.
Yeah.
And you go to the fridge and there'd be this empty saucer in the fridge, and Dad would go, "Oh, I think the mice got that one." Yeah, yeah.
So, toad in the hole, where does it come from? Well, it originates from the UK, as many of these dishes do. I need my reading glasses for this. But I've delved into Wikipedia, which is a very useful source of information, but, you know, we don't know whether it's all accurate, but hey. So apparently it was originated from a dish that would have involved cooking meat, or cooked meat, in a batter.
Yeah.
Baked in a batter.
I know that.
And different types of meats would have been used. So, looking back to 1762, it is described as a small piece of beef baked in a large pudding. And apparently the whole point of this, and it was a cheap dish to make, was to make the meat go further.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess, you know, cooking it in a batter, it would take on some of that meat flavour and be an extension of the meat itself.
But it will also be a filler.
Exactly. 1852 it's mentioned in A Plain Cookery Book for the Working Classes by Charles Francatelli, and it's described as a cheap dinner. Mrs. Beeton mentions it in her book in 1861, and in 1891 an Italian cookbook mistranslates it as toad in the bowl.
Oh.
B-O-L-E.
There we are.
Which is interesting. The name, again, you know, the origins aren't terribly clear, but a provincial glossary by Francis Grose describes it as toad in the hole as meat boiled in a crust. And then earlier to that, in 1765, the Newcastle Chronicle has a piece, and it doesn't say whether this is actually about toad in the hole or not, but the words are, "No, you shall lay on the common side of the world, like a toad in a hole that is baked for the devil's dinner."
How bizarre.
Yeah. In 1900, there's a reference to pigeons in a hole as well, as a dish. But as we said earlier, there's never been any reference to actual toads being used. In the 20th century, it was popular school dinners for children. And in the 21st century, there was a survey in 2017, and 23% of Brits had never tried toad in the hole. Which actually I'm not surprised about.
Yeah, I mean, I just always loved it, and I remember going to, when I went to Germany once, I remember having a Deutsche pancake, a Dutch pancake, so Deutsche, German though, which had sausages in it, and there were chips in there as well. It was like sausage, chips and gravy in a big batter thing, but the sausages weren't cooked in it. It was cooked like a Yorkshire pudding, a big Yorkshire pudding, and then placed inside.
Well, the sausages aren't cooked, really. They're cooked beforehand.
Yeah.
In toad in the hole, so they're nice and brown before the batter goes on. And you know, it's very similar to Yorkshire pudding in many ways because it's batter going into a hot baking dish. So I think we should get on and make it, Paul.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Let's get in the kitchen and do this thing. So we're in the kitchen and we're on the wide angle lens if it looks a bit strange, but it's just so we can get everything in. So it's a really easy dish to make. Let's start off with the sausages that we've got. These are little Vimondo Cumberland sausages. And I guess the first thing we're going to have to do is get those sausages into the oven, but we'll do that in a minute.
Yeah.
Then we've got a few ingredients to make the batter. Now we're following a basic recipe that we found on the Delia Smith website. So it just makes a small amount of batter, enough to cover the sausages.
Enough to bed the sausages in rather than cover them.
Not cover them, but yeah, they're going to sit. And one of the reasons for the name, apparently, that I did read was because the sausages are peeping out of the batter like a toad would do in its lair. So that's one of the possible reasons for the name. So what have we got, Paul?
Plain flour.
Mm-hmm.
An egg. Some water. A little bit of milk, and of course we're using oat milk. And olive oil, and then salt and pepper. That's it.
That's it. So first thing we're going to do is get the sausages in so they can cook for around 15 minutes or so, and then we will make the batter and proceed.
The reason being is that the sausages, as you said, they need to be cooked really, because there won't be enough time in the cooking for them to cook through, because the batter will go tough.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got a baking dish out, and I think it's important to say at this stage that we're making enough, like we said before, for the sausages to sit in the batter.
Yeah.
Some people make the mistake of making too much batter, and therefore it rises right over the sausages, and you can't actually see the sausages to serve them. So we're using this Denby, which I think is, I don't know,
22 by 18?
I'm not sure, it's a lasagna. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop some oil in there, and there needs to be a good amount of oil in order to get the batter cooked as well. And we're going to place the sausages directly in there. And of course, if you wanted to scale up the recipe and make a larger one, then, you know, you can do so. Okay, great. And these are going to go onto quite a high heat, Paul, aren't they?
Yeah, they're on the oven's heating up to 200, and I've just spaced them out so that the air can get around them. You don't want to bunch them together because they won't cook properly then.
So these are going to go in, as we say, on 200, and they're going to go in for around 15 minutes once the ovens come up to temperature. Okay, it's time for the sausages to go in. See you in about 15 minutes. So it's time to make the batter. So for those of you who don't know about batter making, it's very easy to do. We're just sifting the flour first of all. And then you make a little well in the centre of the flour. Add your egg. And then incorporate that into the flour. And just add your liquid bit by bit. So Paul's added the milk first of all. And just make sure that it's fully incorporated and there are no lumps. So that's the milk done. Then the water goes in. And also the thing to remember is if you want to add any herbs like rosemary or sage or thyme, anything like that, you can do so. You can just chop it and add it to the batter. So we're just going to go with some simple salt and pepper. And that is your batter. It should be like a creamy consistency, which it is.
Single cream.
Like a single cream. Well, yeah, cream. Okay, that's the batter done. We'll let that sit there until the sausages are cooked. Okay, so the sausages are now done. Paul is going to take them out of the oven. So you can see that they are browned. Let's just get in a little bit closer as the batter goes in. You can see that it's sizzling hot, and it needs to be sizzling hot. The batter's going to go in. And then we're going to pop them straight back in the oven for about half an hour. Okay, so half an hour has elapsed. Let's have a look at how it's doing. Ooh, looks good. So I don't know whether you can tell, but the batter has puffed up around the sausages, so they're nestled in the batter. It's golden brown, and I don't know whether you can hear, but it's still sort of sizzling. So we're going to have some of this for our lunch, and we're just going to have it with gravy. We would normally have it with vegetables and all of that, but we haven't done that, so there you go. Time to serve up. I'm looking forward to this, Paul. Now, as I said earlier, we would normally have vegetables with this. We're just doing this for the purpose of taste testing and this video. I've got a little bit of mustard on the side, which I'm going to enjoy. Ooh, everything's nice and hot.
Oh. It's a very nice batter. It's light, it's crisp. Obviously the gravy's on it now and that's softening it, but yeah, it's lovely.
That is a good batter. It should be light and crisp around the outside. And then, like Paul said, when it gets a bit of gravy on it, it goes a little bit soft in the centre.
Very good. Just the right amount of seasoning. Obviously the sausages that we've got are seasoned.
And the batter really puffed up well. Sometimes when Yorkshire puddings go wrong, they come out of the oven and everything sinks. This doesn't seem to have done that. It's maintained its shape.
And Yorkshire puddings, we used to have that usually with a Sunday roast, and you always hoped there would be more left over and Mum had done another batch so that you could have them with jam or golden syrup or something afterwards.
Yeah, batter is batter at the end of the day, whether it's used for sweet or savoury.
Yeah, this is very good, very easy, and yeah, do it.
Nice and filling as well. So that's it for today's episode. We're going to continue to eat and enjoy this. So bye for now.
Bye.